Shelter. I don't know what it's called.
Then we get to Lock House.
Yeah.
So.
Do you see the thumbs up?
Yeah.
What thumbs up?
Wait, I don't see it.
Hold on.
Oh, there it is.
See?
What?
I'm like, I'm not going crazy.
What is it? I saw a bubble on my screen.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not going crazy.
Wait, I think it's actually called Take Shelter.
Like, back to...
We wanted the smoke, so let's bring the fire. We're igniting the drama and chaos. This is Matches and Mayhem. We are your ride or die. Sorry. Start again.
Juice
I like
box.
the sip of the juice box. I like it. you didn't do that in stream. Like, just take a random sip.
We are not sponsored by Honestly.
Yeah, we cover the
maybe one day. We wanted the smoke, so let's bring the fire. We're igniting the drama and chaos. This is Matches and Mayhem. We are your ride or die host. Norah, the Vendetta Queen. Raquel, the Cutthroat Contessa. Victor, the Duel Master. And Erox, the Double Agent. Get ready for a reckoning as we dive into the gauntlet of Season 40 of the challenge, Battle of the Eras. Part 2, baby!
That's good. All right, everyone. Just so we can get reacquainted with episode 2 of the challenge, let's get into our 1 minute meltdown. This episode brought the fire eliminations with Hall Brawl headlining like the UFC pay-per-view, where Theo absolutely trucked Paulie. Johnny Bananas might be right. Paulie's soul definitely took a vacation after that hit. Theo's making his name in the house. Top dog status confirmed. Meanwhile, Anissa went full beast mode in pole wrestle. She's stacking up eliminations like it's her full-time job. And Derek keeps proving why he's the pole wrestle king. Sorry, Mark. The old dog's gotta go. We also have Naya, who crushed Amanda and balls in, while Tony gave Leroy a reality check. Maybe it's time to hang it up. Take Shelter felt more like take a nap, but Cara pulled out the win, showing why she's still the one to beat. Just when you thought it was safe, though, TJ pulls a fast one with the karma vote twist. Now eliminated players get to rate the remaining crew, but no one knows what these nominations mean. Confusion, paranoia, and chaos reign supreme. That's your 1 minute meltdown. So, what do you guys think?
Well,
That was awesome. I liked it.
yeah,
What?
it was great, except for the filming style of showing us random shit that, like, I have no context for. Flashbacks and flash forwards and all this stuff was not working for me. I'm over it. It was annoying. Otherwise, great episode.
So, like, this is what really pissed me off even more about the cliffhanger. Because then you come back and it's like, oh yeah, we're not going to tell you who they ended up voting in. And we're not even going to tell you what they're going to do until like halfway through the episode, like who chose what. Like, it's like, I don't know. I was confused, and I don't think they meant to confuse us, but it was definitely confusing.
Confused
I think
about
they're
what
setting-
exactly?
So, unless I missed something, when the episode starts, they're already walking out into the arena. So they kind of skip past the cliffhanger and the tension where Paulie and Theo are facing off. But they didn't actually show us, did Horacio and Michelle actually vote in Paulie? Like, they didn't show it till like later on in the episode. So it's like you left the cliffhanger and then we came back to, okay, we're
And I'm
just going
still on the cliff. It's like, hello. Yeah. It
I
wasn't
have a
great.
feeling they're setting us up for a new style of how this is kind of gonna start going. I don't know, and maybe it's just the beginning, but I kind of started getting that feel that, like, all right, this is every episode we're gonna have one where we never see the elimination, and they're building. That's gonna be an episode, and the next one is gonna be all fighting, and then building. I don't know. That's kind of what it seems like they're doing.
I think maybe because it was the first episode, I think they were trying to milk it for all it's worth, the first 2 episodes. I feel like maybe later on, as the show goes on, they'll keep the eliminations in the same episode just because there were so many people, and well, also there's also four teams going at it within themselves, and there's
Mhm.
a boy and a girl, so it's like you're watching what, eight eliminations. So it
Mhm.
might be also they might keep it separate and just have until there's a twist where something happens and we don't know yet what yet, but something might happen and change everything up.
I just, you know, it's tough to get excited for the twist. Like if you treat it like Inception, where you're trying to plant these ideas. No, just give me the strategy as it's unfolding, rather than trying to like hide the ball from me and then say, "Oh, look, get excited for it's Hall Brawl," and I'm like, oh, "Okay, who's in it?" Like, but you don't need to. The thing is, like, you don't need to surprise me with Hall Brawl. It's already exciting enough. So enough complaining, because in the end, it was like an amazing episode. Like you said, 8 eliminations in a row, like is like a wet dream.
Yeah, it was
But
epic.
so let's start with Hall Brawl, because that's just like it's the shit. It is the king of eliminations. Can we all agree on that?
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
So before it got started, did anybody was it 50-50 for both matchups? So we had Paulie and Theo and Olivia and Nerys.
No.
No, I don't think it was 50-50.
I think it was first of all, I want to thank the challenge gods for bringing Hall Brawl back in its purest form. Uh, I think the fans have been wanting to see it original for a while, and I think this was a great platform for them to bring it back. I don't think it was 50-50. It was obvious. I mean, you guys know where I stand on Theo. I think Theo was going to dominate no matter what strategy Paulie had. Olivia just has more size on her than Reese. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting anything more than what happened.
Yeah, it was a given. Like Paulie did never had a chance like against Theo in Hall Brawl. There's just no way. So it was I knew that Theo was gonna kill it. So it was like 100%. I knew that Paulie was not gonna win that. And you know what's funny is that like when Paulie was eliminated, he was thinking about Kara and he was like, I'm sad that she's gonna, be by herself. And I'm just like, dude, worry about your game. Like I understand you guys are together, but like worry about yourself.
But he had no
So
game. He was
cold.
out. he was he was done. He's gonna
I
go
guess
tie on
I
her
guess what
shirt now.
I
So yeah, I can wear all her
what
clothes.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen! Yeah!
He's the missing fabric in her shoulder strap.
cold, cold shoulder.
I'm missing
Yeah,
Paulie.
yo,
I
but
felt like
that animation where his body left his soul had me crying. Like
yeah.
the way they just stopped it and you just went into outer space. I was like, you guys are wrong with that one.
Yeah, it's definitely changing the name from Hall Brawl to Paulie's Funeral. That was, it was like, there's Backpack Johnny Bananas, which is like the most embarrassing one. This is like underneath that, but pretty close. Where it's just like, you went in with all this fake tough guy energy and then just got demolished. And it's, listen, we talked about the kiss. I think this was the perfect revenge for Theo. If he was gonna get his revenge, is like, let me put a body on him and let me catch a body out in these streets. Like, done. I think now we can put that to rest.
I agree. I did feel like there was going to be more of a fight between them than Olivia and Nuri. I thought
hmm hmm
because I don't know. I just assumed Paulie, if he got really low, maybe could take out his feet at least for one of the rounds. I figured he wasn't going to win, but it was there was nothing happening there. Like it was.
Yeah, and I mean, not to bring it back to Jordan, because obviously he wasn't competing, but this is where I truly admire, like, not just Jordan, but Devin. It's like they know physically that the person they're against, they're they're gonna win. So they have to think outside of the box. Paulie had no idea what he was doing. He was just like, he was winging it. It's like, no, when you know that you can lose to someone that has like 60 plus pounds on you, you gotta think outside of the box. It's not the normal hall brawl anymore. You gotta think of something. Because that was too
Yeah.
easy. That was too easy.
Yeah, we would have thought like, okay, first one, Theo went really low and matched me and just trucked me. Like I gotta go over him. I gotta surprise him, like try to leap him, or just wrap up and try to
Mhm.
wrestle him on the ground and see if that helps. But kind of, you know, the definition of insanity is to keep trying something, think it'll change.
But there was no strategy Paulie could have done to overcome what he was going against. There was nothing. He just didn't have the size. He didn't have the power, the speed. He didn't. He just outmatched every way. So I mean,
But we say
Absolutely.
that, but like the truth is, it's a lot harder in Hall Brawl, but there is a chance a smaller person, just like when we look at pole wrestling things, sometimes the smaller ones, if they strategically and they want it enough and they're strategic about it, it's gonna be hard. And maybe they won't win, but at least they put up some kind of effort. That was just like, I wish they would have had a timer of like legit how long it took each time Theo went through. I feel like there should be some kind of record on that because he just like a train, like CT when he used to do like when they would do the football ones, and he's like I'm a train, I'm
choo
coming through
choo.
like a train. It was a choo choo train, and Polly,
Yeah, I would compare it to Nelly T versus Fessy, where Fessy looked like the obvious winner, and he did win, but Nelson put a lot of like he got him down. They wrestled, and Fessy had to get dirty in that with like fingers in like
Hmm.
the face and things like that for him to claw through. You know, So I'm not. It could be done. Like you could put up a competitive challenge, trying to figure out with a strategy if you're smaller. But I don't think Paulie had it in him. And this is me saying that, and I drafted him. So
I think he just it was an intimidating task to take on for him. Like as soon as he found out it was Hall Brawl, like his soul left his body and he just like gave up completely. Because it was just too easy. It wasn't even enjoyable. It was like, all right, Theo, like you stomped on him 3 times. I
I
get
liked it.
it.
Oh,
That's for the kiss.
okay. Now, as for Nerys and Olivia, can we take a moment to mourn the loss of Nerys? That's it.
Really?
A moment of silence, please.
Okay.
Silence. Silence. All right. Thank you. So, again, size matchup. There was a big difference. Sometimes I think you with the women sometimes there's less aggression and apprehension. There was some of that here, so you may be able to win as a smaller person, but that wasn't the case here.
I personally feel I'm happy Nerys is gone so we could see Olivia be a better powerhouse. I think their drama they had going was going to keep, because when we watch Olivia from 2 seasons ago, how tough she was even through her finale. I mean, getting hit in the face and gushing blood and still going, versus last season slowing down because there was so much drama and this. With girls, they start to lose a lot of their competitiveness. So I also think Olivia is one of those girls that can be a great competitor, that we don't see her full potential because she gets wrapped up in these other storylines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm hoping now that drama's gone, it's done, because there's nothing else tying her to that. Because I mean, other than her boyfriend, nobody really cares. And not to be mean to her, but she doesn't have those kind of like deep relationships where people are going to be like, oh, you got rid of Nerys. Nobody really cares that she's leaving. That she can go and kind of, well, I mean, from the challenge, sorry, she doesn't, she kind of kept to
No,
herself, which
I totally agree with you. I mean, Horacio gets a lot of the attention, but Olivia was right there with him when they set the record for most eliminations in one season. So you're right. Last season was drama filled, and she depended so much on this J alliance to
Oh
No,
yeah.
she didn't need that. She's a strong competitor too. So I agree. Let's see what you can do now, where the target's not on your back. So
Yeah. And maybe this for both of them can be a wash. Like, okay, it's done going forward. Let's both come in here and be powerhouses, and who cares about the drama? And so I kind of like, as weird as that is, I was like, all right, well, at least we ended this chapter and it's not going to be another Laurel and Cara Marie for 15 episodes. We're done with it. One's going home as far as we know. And let's just see where they go from here and how they go in further seasons. I hope that this was the squashing of it. And I do feel like Olivia was at first going a little soft on, and I would
I
too. But,
agree.
like it's your friend, you don't want to hurt her. But then she was like, okay, she's scrappy, so I could kind of give it to her a little bit better now.
Yeah, I feel like as much as they really tried to edit, the episode in a way that like this feud was like, oh my God, so big, so big. And then when they went in, I was like, all right, Olivia's going kind of soft. Like,
Yeah.
where's the feud here? Um, but there was something that I think Anissa said about that episode was like either before that or right after that, they all hashed out their problems and they hugged and they were all like kumbaya.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
So I think maybe that had something to do with it, where they had already squashed their beef and it didn't really air. Um, but
we
I was
wouldn't know.
anticipating we wouldn't know, but I was anticipating a little bit more of a fight between them.
So you brought up the dirty word, which was Anissa. So let's pivot to there, and we'll just go to. I think it's natural to go to pole wrestle anyway, because that is, I think, the second most iconic challenge, and I'm really happy. I mean, elimination, and I'm really happy that they brought that one. And we didn't hit this on the first episode, but here Derek throws himself in, and listen, that's like challenge, like mistake 101 that you don't make. Like, don't throw yourself in, don't nominate yourself. It's not about honor, and it's get to the end, get to the end. So, but if there was one where he volunteered himself, no matter who he was going up against, pole wrestle is the elimination for him. He's a pit bull in that. So kind of lucked out with that.
But I was under the impression that he was throwing himself in to sacrifice himself, because the way he was talking was more like, Mark's a good friend. He really needs to do it for his mom. She has cancer. We talk every day. I'm gonna do this for him. So I thought he was going in there with every intention of kind of throwing the elimination so Mark could get back in the fight and have a chance to win the money. So
No,
that's
he
kind
was
of what I
actually
thought.
he was actually protecting Darrell, who's also his good
Yeah.
friend, and who is on the chopping block. He said that Darrell has helped him out in his life, in his personal life, which is funny because then Darrell comes back and is like, I appreciate it. I would never throw myself in for you.
Bro, I was crying when I saw that. I said, damn, Darrell, you did him dirty.
But see, that's the difference. Darrell's there for a game, and outside of the house, it's a different story. You're my ride or die. But in the house,
Right.
I'm here for my
Right.
family. I'm here for the money. And that's, I think so many of them struggle with. But Darrell is the perfect example of that. Is I don't care if we hold hands and you are at my house every other night for dinner. I'm still going to be cutthroat in this game. Like, this game is for money for me to take home to my family.
So then we get this matchup. Mark's got the size, but like I said, Derek is not to be played with in pole wrestle, and he lived up to his reputation. Like they were flipping each other around. They were really getting into it, but the Pitbull got it.
I mean, you don't get the nickname the Pitbull for nothing. I mean, Pitbull versus a Godfather is, unless the Godfather got a gun, you're not beating him. I mean, it was still a great match. I think Derek just has so much experience in pole wrestling that also helped him against Mark. He knew. I mean, he's a fighter. We all know he's a fighter. He's scrappy. He was. At one point, I think Mark did like a super suplex on him or something, and Derek just rolled over and kept going. So I mean, I think Derek's experience played a big part here.
So nobody thinks that Mark threw the elimination.
No, I don't think he threw it. When I saw that super suplex he did, I was like, oh no, there's no way he's throwing this.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think this original crew, they respect the challenge so much on a different level. They wouldn't do that.
Okay.
I just think Mark hasn't really played this game, so Derek is more comfortable in it because he's played it. You know, he's a little bit more comfortable with how it moves and operates. I just think I mean, Mark had the size, but Derek just had the technique. You know, and
True.
he's a
Mark,
little
I was just
scrappier.
yeah. No, like Mark is pretty fit. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was just I was maybe I was rooting for Mark a little too much, where I was like, wait a second, I'm kind of surprised that Derek got this. So not easy, but he kind of won.
that's what I was
So,
gonna say. Is I think his fitness, Mark's fitness, he can run, he can climb rope, he can do. But I think that impact and fighting,
oh, okay.
because he's older, I think just naturally, like no matter how much you train, and we already know Derek is a little fighter. He's scrappy, and he has always
Hmm.
been. That has never changed through all these seasons. That is his one gift. Is he is scrappy. Like he will get down on, hold on to that pole. I mean, so I just feel like Mark's age might have played, no matter how fit he is. That just I think wore him out to where he couldn't kind of. He lost that endurance of that because it was so physical. Whereas if they had to maybe run and climb ropes and climb over something,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
Mark
true.
would have beat him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I agree.
Good point. Yeah.
So then the other matchup, Anissa and Katie. This was predetermined.
Next,
Anissa was
next.
never gonna lose this one. And for a little bit of time, she took the elimination wins record, but not for long. We'll get to that in a little bit. So that was
Yeah.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No,
No,
go.
I just if she had a better attitude, I think I'd be more
Enough.
team
We're
Anissa.
moving on.
Okay.
Enough
Hey, Katie
I
slander
was
was
here.
I
scrappy
was
in that
proud of
though.
Kate. Yeah, I was proud of
Yeah,
Katie. We have to give it
give
to
her
her. She
props.
tried.
Yeah.
For once, we kind of see some
Stop.
chance.
Hold on.
Give Katie her props. Give her her
We're
props.
gonna give Katie props. Talk about somebody I would
Give
never
Katie
want
her
in a
props.
final, never want in an
No,
elimination.
no,
Like
she has
I
to
don't even
go.
want her in the house. But Anissa, who's kicking ass here, we're moving
Give
on.
Katie her props.
Next segment, balls in.
Just
Amanda versus Naya. So talk about Norah. We're clear now because you called it. Like I don't think anybody's gonna want to see Naya in elimination pretty soon.
Yeah, I honestly at first I was like, I swear, Anaya, because we saw this before with her. She can be an amazing competitor, and her heart's just not in it. So I was like, here's the test. We're gonna see. And when she was kind of like going half in, I'm like, girl, what are you? Are we doing this again? You came on again to just lose. You should be demolishing straight through this girl. Choo choo train her. Like a stiff arm and you're done. End this. So at first I was like, but then she came around. I was about to say I was pissed because I drafted her in like, all right, one of these girls, like, come on, you're my only hope really on my team almost on my whole draft to be like a great competitor, and you're gonna let this girl score on you. But she came around.
it was an easy one. I mean, there's no and I have Amanda on my roster, but even I knew she
Oh.
wasn't winning that one.
Oh.
I just had it for the mayhem points, but
Yeah, I I gotta say with Amanda, I think like the bark has gotten way too big for the bite,
Yeah.
and like in the past, at least she has shown that like she can be resourceful in a puzzle, or she can surprise people on like an endurance run or something, just where she can keep pace. But Mayhem points aside, like we love that. We want that. When your ability to cause so much shit in the house just supersedes your ability too much, it gets annoying. It just got annoying to me at that point. It's like, we know you're not gonna do anything, so why are you biting, like barking so much?
Could we possibly say, and I'm interested on all of your takes because I didn't bring this up when we were watching it. Can we say Amanda is the new Paula? Like, can be annoying, a lot of bark. Sometimes she can give a little bite. Sometimes she doesn't. Will throw, threatens to throw things because she hates her team, throws her tantrums, then like all of a sudden does well, so people start liking her again, and then is hated again by everyone, has a lot of issues getting along with females. Is she the new Paula?
I would say there's a bridge in between there. And it's Camilla, which I know had a nasty ending, but a similar thing where it's just like you're not as good as your attitude would reflect, but occasionally you team up with the right person or you make friends with the right people. Mm-hmm. But even they start to turn their backs because you just cause too much drama. Yeah. And you're not worth the drama.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of Corey not going to bat for her?
I think his reasoning was fair.
But she was probably the only one in that team that would look out for him as a number one option, no matter what. So he did lose that.
One person isn't going to help you in the end. He said that. I've tried doing that. How many seasons now? I've tried linking up with one or two solid people, and it got me nowhere. And it's fair. That is fair. He has tried that approach, and it doesn't work for him.
She does nothing for him. Like, she doesn't bring anything to the table that would be advantageous for him.
She doesn't bring a huge alliance. It's not going to win a daily.
She's drama. She just brings drama. She's a liability. I said this before. You can't. Like, goodbye. Go home.
But then now that puts Corey kind of at the bottom of the guys' totem pole then, because they're all in alliances, and their alliances are way stronger. And he's going to be at the bottom regardless. So
but he still would have been at the bottom with her, and she's the bottom.
Exactly. And she would be,
But at least it gives you, granted, probability of her winning a challenge isn't high, but it's still better than nothing. Especially if you're at the bottom of the barrel with guys.
But I feel like, like what Johnny eventually said in that episode, it's timing. So if you wait until it's too late to prove something to people, well, then it is for sure too late. You might as well take a risk. He was you're going to be at the bottom either way, Corey. Do you try to take a risk and show people that, like, hey, I'm open to working with you people, and I'm willing to get rid of somebody who will sabotage the team, who'll do all these things to try to prove himself, to build his alliance, because he is a free agent and he is strong. So somebody can pull him in to have a stronger alliance if they're smart. And he's loyal. We've seen him be loyal.
Yeah, and I don't think he had much of a choice, because if you go the other way and you vote against Tori, you're telling Tori, he's like, yeah, I'm not having your back. Okay, on that team she has Devin, her ride or die. She has Jordan, her boy, and Naya is aligned with Jordan because they're friends. And so you're looking at a team where it's just, 4 people who you're not going to go against. And the only thing is, I do think Tony is below Corey in that pecking order. And I think Corey proved that by saying, I'm not gonna vote Jordan in. I'm gonna vote Tony in. So I think he set himself up a little bit better in that alliance for now. So speaking of Tony,
Tony time.
Tony time.
Tony time.
Tony time. Whose team is he on?
So this one, I was the one that I thought was a 50-50. And
really?
It wasn't. Yeah. It didn't turn out to be a 50-50 at all.
I was thinking Leroy because he has football experience from what I remember. Like, he played at a relatively high level, maybe college. But I know he had experience with football. So I was thinking Leroy might have a chance. But then I saw he lost a lot of his size, and I think he opted that out for more of an endurance body because he was saying that he runs a lot now. So I think, but then I seen Tony just wreck him, and
Yeah.
it was
I,
brutal.
yeah, I think that people, I mean, I don't know, I've never been on it, but maybe Leroy underestimated just like how challenging mentally it was going to be. If you had a kid 2 weeks ago, even though you didn't birth the child, I don't think you're all the way there to like handle a whole season of a challenge. I don't think he was mentally prepared to like endure that. I think there were, I mean, they go in there blind. They don't know who's going to be on whose team, what they're going to do. So I don't think he was mentally prepared. So I'm going to chalk it up to like he just had a baby and he wasn't there. Because
So,
I thought it was going to be 50-50 and it should have been 50-50.
so you think
But
if he didn't just have the kid, Leroy or normal like Leroy how he is now, but just without no kid, you think he would have had a chance against Tony?
I think it would have been a closer call. He got demolished. So,
Well,
I mean,
I
yeah.
wanna pose this question because I don't quite see it that way, but I want to throw it out there. Is it time to hang it up? Because yeah,
Yes,
this wasn't really
yes.
close. This is a guy who used to be such a threat. He's made finals. We know it's the win has eluded him. But he used to be able to carry people like his partner Mike back in the day. Who
I
wasn't
remember that. I remember.
final material at all. He dragged them there. He's always played a good social game. Devin said it the last game that he was on with him and Cam. They ran
They
that
ran
house.
it. They ran it.
Yeah.
And now it seemed like he was here to get that quick paycheck, and now he's bounced. So Leroy maybe doesn't have an elite legacy, but I think like we have fond memories of him. Should he called it quits once, came back like Jordan wearing that 4-5. Do we say yeah, don't put on that Wizards jersey again? Maybe you should
Yeah.
ride off into the sunset.
Yeah. I don't think he should have came back. I think Cam has a better chance at winning than Leroy.
Killer
I I
Cam.
I, I think psychologically, like what you tell yourself and how you handle the game determines a lot of how you proceed in the game. I think he wants to win so bad that just the desire for it is causing more harm to him. He wants to prove to himself that he can do this, but like it's okay to say that you just don't got it. Like I think he's past his prime and I think he should just retire again.
I mean,
I think
I,
that's fair.
you think it's and it hurts because Nora and I are big fans of Leroy. We've been wanting him to win so badly over the seasons, but it's like he lines himself up with Johnny, and then I mean he gets caught in the crossfire, and then I mean he's had a string of bad luck, but it's just he's such
I
a genuine person on the show. It's like you want him to win, you want him to be a champion.
Right. You're in love with the fantasy of this underdog story and you want to see him win. But that's not going to get you anywhere.
It's not.
You
It
got
has.
to accept that like
It has.
he's actually in my opinion,
In your dreams.
he's never been that good where I'm like, "Damn, he came
Whoa,
close. He
whoa,
came
whoa,
so
whoa, whoa,
close."
whoa.
Well, maybe
I
his
think his
breakout season.
I think his breakout
maybe.
season was the one with Mike. I forget the
And
Yeah,
how
name of
long
the
ago?
seasons.
How long
it
ago was that?
was
Yeah, it was a
there
while
was
ago.
rivals, I think, because he had somebody, and then I think it was rivals because
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Mike
because he
wasn't a
was a
rival, but he
replacement,
came
right?
in as a replacement. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's like you don't got it. Sometimes you just don't got it, and you just gotta accept it.
And I also feel like in the end, Leroy, you won from this no matter what. Whether he never wins, he got a beautiful wife, he has beautiful children.
For
facts.
Like,
sure.
and I just feel like the last couple seasons, And I just picture, because we see the genuine Leroy, and obviously we don't know them in real life, but Cam just had that baby. You think he wasn't sitting by her side helping raise their little toddler with their every will she couldn't, she's about to give birth for the last couple months, like he wasn't at the gym night and day. He wasn't trained. And I don't blame him. He's doing what he should be doing. His first priority, being a father, being a husband, caring, So it's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen the challenge Leroy like rocking it. So maybe if he wants to come back, maybe he needs me. If him and Cam decide that's it, 2 is enough, give it a little time, go train, but time is also ticking as, these challengers get older. We see it gets harder for them. So
Yeah.
But I would love to see Cam.
There's no participation trophies in the challenge, but maybe it's a little consolation. I think Leroy is a fan favorite. So I think we all root for him, even if not in the challenge, in life. So then we get Take Shelter. And before we get into the actual matchup, I wanted to bring this up because they try to present it as this is one of the like big eliminations. I only remember the one that CT lost, and it's more because CT lost
To Jay.
To Jay. This was not one of the iconic eliminations. So does anyone else here have an elimination that stands out to them that they think should have been on here instead of Take Shelter?
I actually thought it was going to be the not one where they're like similar to the shelter, but the one where they're going in and out with the knots. I thought that
Jungle
was what
Gym.
Me
it was.
too. Yeah, that's
so
exactly
when I saw
what
that, I was
thinking.
like, that's not iconic.
I think because of space, because they had to have it I think they were on each side, even though we couldn't really tell that. I'm assuming for space, it was like, one girl, one guy on the front and back. But if they had the jungle gyms, maybe they didn't have the space to bring 4 different jungle gyms. Because usually that's pairing. That's a pairing one. So I don't know. But I thought that would have been it. This one was not.
Yeah,
No.
I was a little
They had the
disappointed.
space.
But that's the same one that I thought of, and I guess the other thing that they was the timing, maybe because they could have all 4 people competing at the same time. But I don't know. The challengers have talked that sometimes they're at the elimination shoots for like all night, and it's like exhausting. So I have a hard time thinking it's like it's harder to bring in all this crap than one jungle gym and a rope and give them 5 minutes each. But that's the one I would have liked to see.
Do you guys remember the a long time ago, like 10 years ago, it was like I don't know, when was Casey on? It was called Not So Fast or something. And they had to they were like harnessed to this rope and they had to swap and then untangle and tangle their opponent's thing. I don't know. But Jordan was on it. Jordan was in that elimination. I forgot with who. But when I saw the knots, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's that one. But it wasn't. So maybe our listeners know what I'm talking about because I can't describe it.
It's not the jungle gym one, the one we were just talking about.
Was Jordan in that one?
Maybe they've had a few
I know
people
it was Jordan and Anissa against I don't know, I don't remember who.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it was that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one okay, so we're on the same page. I thought that was something that they were gonna do.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is like maybe a water-based one. There's where like you have to swim underneath the water and figure out a puzzle or something like that. They've had different versions of that, but
Or honestly, the
or
other
the
one
one
would be an eating one.
Yeah.
Some kind
I don't
of
think they
eating
had that in
one.
elimination.
Yeah.
Though, have they? You know?
No, I don't think so. But
They
those are
haven't,
always iconic, to just
I was
throw
thinking-
one weird one.
I was thinking of the one where they have some kind of bungee attached to themselves, and they're either trying to pull against each other or pull to grab something at the end of something. You know which ones I'm talking about?
yeah.
So that's
like-
one also could have been.
Like they're trying to get to like a pole or something, but they're
Yeah.
tied together.
Yeah. They should have did the one where Veronica almost got killed by what's her name? Remember, was it Veronica? She was like dangling off like in between these buildings and somebody was trying to like shake her to come off of it.
Yeah, but that
They
was a
should have did
challenge.
that.
That was a
Oh.
daily.
Oh, that was one of the dailies? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they should
And
bring back the dailies. The dailies are also kind of interesting.
yeah,
For Veronica.
the daily challenge. Okay. We're gonna um uh the other one that just made me think like would have been funny is to do the backpack one. Even though CT and Johnny weren't in the elimination, like just bring that back. Let us see it again and have, two people strapped as a backpack and see who wins. So
I could never unsee like that. Is just I don't know. Every time I see it, I just laugh. I just
yeah. Then the icing on the cake, he throws him into the garbage can.
was that Prime CT?
Yeah. But that was Prime CT
Or-
where they hadn't officially brought him back because he got into the fight with Adam, and they had to like cool it on him for a few seasons, and that was like a tester. It's like, all right, come back and do this. You're still on timeout, but we're gonna have you come do this. And he came back like a bull in a china shop, like as powerful as ever. So those were the days. Now he's dad bod CT.
What do you think of CT now? Hair is still immaculate though. His hair is still amazing.
For real. I know.
The jealousy.
Man, I
All right,
will watch. What was that?
I was gonna say, let's get back into like we had Kara and Kelly. We don't even care because it was so like not even.
Oh my
So
God.
I will say this about the lock house or whatever it's called. It is like it does have the ability to do like last second who's gonna open up first. So it did get close between Kellyanne and Kara, but Kara ends up taking it. She now ties it back up with Anissa for elimination wins, and she kind of shows why she is one of the best champs ever. So what'd you guys think about that one?
It was anticlimactic. I just thought it was boring the whole way around. They didn't make it seem like Kellyanne was gonna win. Give her monologue, and they cut it off right before she won, and they made it seem like she was gonna open it. But I mean, it was the challenge itself was boring. So I mean, it wasn't much from it. I mean, I'm happy Cara got the dub. Team Cara all day. You know, the Team Pirates are. So I mean, I'm happy she won. It's just it was just boring. It was just very boring to watch. Just I feel like they should have done something a little more physical.
I think it was though the only like I guess to equal the playing field for one of them in case like I don't know. It really is like Kellyanne could have won that just as much as Cara Marie, because it's more of I mean I guess you have to have some endurance to keep tying and untying, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kellyanne's a competitor, though. I think she's very underrated as a competitor. She's had her fair share of eliminations, especially in her breakout season, and some after that. A lot of people on the show also recognize her skills. So I think she could have given a good fight to Cara in almost any of those other matches.
So it was interesting dynamic when they were going at each other, and I kind of want to bring this up, see what you guys think. Sideline coaching, fair or fucked up?
Fuck
It's part of
that.
the
I don't
challenge.
like it.
It's part of the challenge. As TJ said, it's about how you treat people and your alliances. So, I mean, I don't like it personally, but it is part of the game because if you have these friends and you have these alliances, then they can help you in the eliminations.
So you don't like it, but it's part of the game.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have it make them be silent or close it off so they can't see what's going on.
No, because I mean, that is an option. I think that was it the island where they had that where nobody was allowed and they would have them just come back at the end and they'd be surprised. I mean, I'm okay with that too. But if you're gonna I think part of what the audience wants to see, they want to see people's reaction. And sometimes there's twists where you can even call people down and from the audience or the stand to come and face them. So I mean, I don't like that because it gives people who probably would have won normally a chance. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still part of the challenge. One of the ugly parts of it, but it's still part of it.
It's a hit or miss for me because then I think of iconic moments of like it still will forever be my favorite challenge when Laurel thought she won the climbing one
I knew you were going to
and
bring that
comes
one
down
up.
and
I
does
knew
the
it.
suck it thing. I mean,
Yeah.
if you didn't have the audience there, she wouldn't be. Who would she be doing suck it to? And she
I knew that was
lost.
coming.
Like I think I rewatched that at least 15 times. I was crying watching it. Like the suck it, and then she lost.
It was beautiful. It was karma at its best. It was karma at its best. I loved it.
Yeah, I just like the first of all, the challenges kind of said who were it's like it didn't really help. Like they're trying to help them, and really they're just yelling in their ear. But it kind of ruins it sometimes. Like I can remember some challenges where one is like where you have to push so that somebody gets knocked off on you push a block so that the other person gets knocked off.
Yeah.
If you have people telling you, oh, they're over here, push that one, and they're over here, push that one, it's like it kind of like ruins that challenge. But yeah, you build your alliances in the house so that they can protect you all the way through, and that points to elimination. So as far as a challenger, I can see why it's all fair, but as a viewer, I'm like, no, I want this to be a competition, so stop doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There are many times where I would be like, the person who won shouldn't have won, but they won because they had these cheerleaders behind them. And I'm like, what the hell? So as a viewer, it's annoying because I want to see how good these people are or how bad they are. But it's like, the entire time we're just watching like math equations get fed to them or puzzles get fed to them, and it's like this is not fun to watch. Like it's actually rather annoying. If I wanted to watch that, I don't know, I'd watch something else.
So then on the other side, we had Ryan and Brandon. Thoughts? Nope. Okay, moving on. So, all right. So let's get to this twist. We've been like they gave it to us early, so we get this karma twist where TJ goes full evil villain mode and says, "I want you to rate the people in the house 1 to 5. You don't know what it's gonna mean." And you get all the people with their vendettas. Amanda's like, oh, -5 for Tori. You get somebody, I think Kellyanne gave Johnny a 3 or something like that. What do we think this means?
I can tell I don't know what it means. I can tell you that it does nothing for me. It just annoys me because it's like another element that I'm like, can we not do this? It's just like
Wow.
producers, stop thinking of things on the spot to make the show interesting. Just let it be black and white, not all these nuanced rules and this and that and like, no, no. I don't, especially when you have 40 fucking competitors, get on with it. Get on with it. I don't need another cliffhanger.
Stop. No, I hard disagree. Let TJ cook.
Let him
Let
cook.
TJ cook. I
Let
want
him cook now.
to be as devious as hell. The one person who never does any wrong is TJ. I even loved his algorithm from a few seasons ago, where it's like the algorithm's perfect. Yes, TJ, and so are you. No, let TJ cook. I want to see what people's scorecards are. Let's do an engagement survey, like in corporate, and see which challenger is going to get like a demerit and which one's going to get full marks. I don't know. Like,
It just, you know what it reminds me of? It's like when you go to like, I don't know, a restaurant and it's just like, fill out this survey. How did we do? It's like a customer service survey. I'm like, I don't want to hear about this damn
It
survey. Like, stop.
I think it's gonna have to involve the end. I think it's whoever has the most points are gonna have some kind of reward for the final, maybe, or I think it has something to do with that. Or maybe it's like a get out of elimination free card later down the line. Like if
Perhaps.
you have a certain amount of points, karma
Hmm.
points, that your good karma will save you from elimination.
That's
I don't know.
I don't I'm interested to see what it is, but if it's going to in the end be part of the final and there's no limits on how much it can help somebody, I get it. It's he's warning them how you treat people, blah blah blah. I get it. I just hate when they do things like this and they get so many advancements. Like one person, even if I like the person, has so many more like leg ups going into the final. It's boring to watch because it's like, well, here we go. Like nobody can catch up. They're already a good competitor and they have a +5 to go into final. It's boring. So I hope it's
But
whatever is used before
Well,
final.
you know what's funny is that I hate that too, and they'll give people advantages in the final. But the one thing that the challenge hasn't had the balls to do is you can't make it to the final without this or that.
Yeah.
They've threatened that, saying, "Oh, you need to get your skull, or you need to get your star, or you're gonna get left behind." And in the end, they don't do it. I want to see the day where you had to achieve something, and if you didn't do it because you were too scared to go in elimination, or you tried to outthink everyone and count how many challenges there were left, sorry, you're gone. We're sending you home. And they haven't like had the courage to do that. So my hope is that the karma points aren't for an advantage. If you don't get a certain amount of points, or if you're not in like the top 8 of points, you're gone. It doesn't matter if you didn't get eliminated. It doesn't matter. You had the chance to do whatever, make the relationships, and you didn't do it. So now you're going home. Because that's one of the things I didn't like about All Stars last season. Laurel didn't go in to get her star, and what happened? They gave her the last minute chance, like, "Oh, win this last. We promise this is the last chance before you go in," and she won it. And I was just like,
I agree. It pisses me off. So I actually
Yeah.
like your idea of that. What I think would even be kind of cool is like all of a sudden being like, okay, everybody, each era, whoever's in the bottom 3, you're competing to see which one of you is going forward, like to the finale, and like knock them off their socks or something. Make it a shock value. Don't just give them a leg up in the finale. That's what I think.
Wait, wasn't Michelle on Survivor and they had a similar thing with these points? Did you guys watch Survivor?
so I don't watch
No.
Survivor, but the way I understand it is, you do get voted by the council at the end, and so it's like you can't just screw yourself. You can't just like screw people over on the way to the final, because I do think they vote for you in like the last tribal council, I think. But I don't watch lesser shows than the challenge.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
Michelle won Survivor. She hasn't been able to win the challenge. So, what does that tell you?
And whose team is she on? Nobody.
Not,
claimed
definitely not mine.
her. Hope it's not mine.
So, the other thing I thought was cool is like the karma points ends up in some sort of like a March Madness type rankings or seeds. Whereas like if you were ranked like low, now you have to go against somebody who's higher. So I don't know, but I didn't put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
But Victor, you like karma points? You don't like it? Like,
I don't like it, honestly. I feel like I hope, and I really hope this isn't the big twist during the season that TJ likes to do. I really hope this isn't it. I hope it's something else. I'm not a fan of it unless. No, I'm not a fan of it. I can't see anything yet that I would really like for it to be. But I just hope this isn't the twist, because it would be very disappointing.
Yeah. It'll give someone like Josh the advantage because he's so well liked. He's very loyal,
so well liked. He's
and
amazing.
No.
he is well liked.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And
Raise
so
your hand if you like
Not by
Josh.
not by
here.
the real ones. Not by the real ones.
I love
There,
Josh.
See, there we go.
But so the point I'm trying to make is like someone
5
who's
karma
not
points.
someone who hasn't, I don't know, like really, really worked for it, if they got a ton of karma points, it's like Veronica. She would have made tons. She would have been just sitting there pretty, sipping her mimosa, and
You
gotten a
think
ton of.
Veronica?
Yeah.
Everyone loves
But it's just
Veronica.
like, but we just don't. I think the people eliminated don't really know what they're voting for. I didn't get the clear guidelines. Like, it's like, who do you think is the strongest, or who you think treated you well, or who do you think is the best? Like,
Well, based
you,
on TJ's instructions, it's kind of like karma points.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
does
but
that
I think
mean?
everybody's going to vote it a little bit differently. So if you have a vendetta, you know you're voting them last. But like if you're, let's say you're voting for someone you like have no relationship with, they're just like, okay, this person's fine, I guess. What do you give them? Like, are you giving them 5? Are you giving them a 3? Like, that's
Yeah.
where I think is like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen there. I just think like the twist in the past is also up to the challengers to make something of it. So sometimes
True.
the production is like they don't do well. But one of the twists that was a good idea was when they broke up the teams a few seasons ago, but it didn't pan out because Fessy and Mariah were. Fessy just
True.
kind of rolled over Mariah and told her what to make the team,
Yeah.
and she didn't draft the best team she could have. And so it was like, I also hope the challengers make the most out of it too.
Well, now this karma point, if it doesn't go to the end, maybe it's something midway or something to help start shifting things that are too one-sided. Because I think that's probably been a lot of, I mean, it's been my complaint. I love Johnny, and rightfully so. Like he has the status he does because he does end up running the house so many of times. Recently, that's kind of tamed down some. We've seen some changing. But sometimes it just gets boring. It's the same story over and over and over. And it's like, is it even fun to watch? So maybe it's a way to make sure that the same storylines aren't continuing. The same packs aren't going to stay together because maybe it's going to create this rift in between them in the middle of the season.
And hopefully it also avoids. I like the idea of like it has a media effect, so we avoid the let's vote the same team every weekend. So let's say they all start to gang up on Era 1, and it's like, let's just send Era 1 in, and those people go home. Hopefully the karma points will say, well, I'm voting against this team, so they have a disadvantage now in the next in the next challenge. So you can't just pick on the same people all the time.
Okay. So, challenge fam, we've got a juicy update from Norah about all things fillers and Botox, injections, and all of those things. So, from subtle tweaks to dramatic transformation, we're diving deep into the procedures that have left our favorite competitors looking snatched or not so much. So, Norah, take it away.
So I just feel like we got to touch on it a little bit. And I want to preface it by saying it's alleged. I don't really know. I'm just taking my most educated guess at who has maybe some facial work. And I'm not judging it because, I mean, do it. I love me some filler and whatever. And, I'm not against it. I'm all for it. But I just want to talk about, and if we can just throw this out there, what's going on? It's 2024. We started dissolving our fillers and our lip filler, and why do we got some of these girls still rocking the full duck? And when I say that, I say it with peace and love. I say it with peace and love. I get it. And they say like filler is addictive. You go and get a little bit, you want more, you want more, you want more. And I don't know. I feel like we saw Jenny seasons before. It was a lot, and I know the public went in on her, but I would, and then we saw her start dissolving it in the reunion. She got the feedback, she got the message, but then she came back this season and it's back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We have Olivia, beautiful girl, beautiful. I mean, she is stone solid, perfect shine, but also full. I mean, I thought we were starting to dissolve a little. I thought that's the trend we're all heading. Tori. I don't know who she's going to for
Tori.
those.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wait, why am I shocked?
Pull up this. I don't know who she's going to inject, but something's going on here. It's the upper lip. It's like I don't know, maybe she got it done right before coming on the show and it'll start going down. I don't know. Like, the only one that I think has very natural, and it's alleged, some people might disagree, is Cara Maria. Cara Maria. I think her lips look the most natural for filler. They're full, they're pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these girls, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. And I'm also curious, I guess because they're on TV, but I just think, like, I probably wouldn't want to overfill my lips or too much filler going into challenges where my face is going to be, like, punched and, like, hit on. I don't know.
You know, one person who I thought overdid it a little bit was Theo. I think after the first Paulie kiss, like, it was too much, like, bone to bone. And so I think in anticipation of kiss number 2, he's like, let me get a little bit of a cushion there so that my short king can, like, just bounce right off of kiss 2.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Paulie got a little, if he eventually, a little. And like I said, I'm not against it. I'm all for it. It's just an interesting choice where we've seen such a change in the beauty industry. And I know everybody's different. But to be coming on the show with such fullness in the top part.
Now, I'm not in their situation, so I don't know. But I think there's kind of a pressure on being on national TV.
I was going to say that.
Everybody commenting on your looks that you kind of, they probably overcompensate for things and, probably do things a little more just because they feel like they have to make it perfect and they maybe don't think it's perfect, so they add more. I mean, I don't know, but I think it's just maybe also the pressures of people watching you and talking about you and they're just trying to,
Yeah, and I don't think it's only the women. I think for the guys, there's been a history where you could kind of tell they come on the show and they're all, like, jacked up. They're all like, though, a couple of weeks, a few weeks, a month pass on the show, and you don't have your full workout routine, and the roids start to wear off a little bit. It's the same thing. It's just like all this pressure. You have to come in looking a certain way or performing a certain way, and people start to notice. And maybe it's not fair that it gets called out so much, but also,
who's on the roid?
I want to be careful. I don't know if anybody got sick or anything. Brad used to be much more jacked. It could be partly age. It could also be a lifestyle choices. Like, I don't want to be as jacked anymore. But that dude was cut, and
he was
not so much. And now he's still like fit, but and at 52, Mark, I don't know, man. And he's wrestling now too. As a professional wrestler. Semi-pro. I don't know. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of help going on there. No shame, but yeah.
Funny you brought that up. I did see, an interview where, I don't know if it was Corey, but somebody said that they should start, drug testing for that in the challenge. I forgot who he mentioned, but they were like, "Oh, who do you think's on it?" And he said somebody's name, and I was like, I gotta find that interview. But it seems like people that are also on the show are asking for this to get a little bit more intensive with, like, the testing for certain things.
We'll have to find that out. Shout her out.
So to sum it up, just to go back, I just want to point out Tina. Not only, she lost some weight, but she's looking fresh. She's looking good. Her and probably Veronica, they're talking. They're doing something right. So I have to give my girls props.
Yeah, they're probably doing Rachel's free workouts on YouTube
Oh,
Probably
where
though.
makes sense.
yeah. I haven't tried it, but I heard through my friend who is doing those workouts completely free. They don't talk about challenge anything, but there are some challenge competitors on there. Free workouts. And it's just like really intense, challenging stuff on there. So they're probably all just like hooking up doing that.
I feel like we should do a 5-minute segment of all of us trying it,
We
following
should
along.
we
I'm
should put
down.
ourselves to the test.
I'm down.
Hey, I want to dance with somebody. Hi! Hi!
So, all right. So, I think it's time to check our squads for our points this week. Victor, where the points at?
All right, guys, our point so far stands as is. Eric leading the pack with 13. Myself following behind with 6. Raquel with 3. And sadly, in last place, we have Norah with a whopping negative 27. You don't get much lower than that, guys. Pretty bad.
Look, it doesn't
Eric,
matter because in the end, when my people are all gone and it's all you got, you're just gonna be losing points. Well, I just sit here because I got nothing to lose.
well,
You
so
lost
speaking
everything.
of so speaking of players eliminated, we have Raquel losing Nerys and Katie, myself losing Amanda, Norah losing Brandon, Kellyanne, Leroy, and Mark.
Oh my God.
That's a lot. That's pretty crazy. And then Eric just losing Paulie.
Good riddance.
The only
The
one I'm
floor-
sad about is Kellyanne. The rest I could care less about.
Well, the floor is open up for debates. If anybody has any points they want to debate, now's the time.
All right. So one of the things that we deduct points for is if you mention your kids, because this is a challenge. This is a guilty pleasure. I don't want to know about your kids' college fund. But here's the thing. Casey lost a point and Kellyanne lost a point because they're trying for kids. So I think there's a debate is that the same thing as mentioning you want to send your kid to space camp or something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's harsh. I mean, we're not even like Casey might be trying to adopt with Nani. They might be trying to do, get a donor.
If you're using any of this money to fund your future kids, imaginary kids, like kids, whatever, it counts. It really counts.
So let me say this. In the first episode, Kellyanne mentioned she wanted to open up a dog sanctuary for stray dogs. I would have minus that one up. This isn't a PETA fundraiser. We're going for cold hard cash here. Is that the same thing?
Well, if that is, then when Jordan brings up all his volunteer stuff helping like countries, then we have to minus it for that, and that seems a little wrong.
What kind of savages are we?
Yeah,
People trying to help
I think
the
we're
world
going
and
a
save
little
dogs?
far.
We are.
What is wrong with you people?
I mean,
Screw those countries, screw those pet animals. Like, I think we said kids. I think we leave it at kids.
Let's leave it at kids.
So
Gonna cut off his
forget that
kids.
Casey's
All right.
trying to adopt a baby who's in need. But
You don't know that.
we forget that. Okay, or maybe she's trying to have a beautiful child with her fiance.
She has a brother. I mean, that's what they do. That's what she'll use part of his DNA, her girlfriend's DNA, and make a baby that looks like both of them. That's what they
She
do.
has a brother.
I mean,
All
so
right.
it's not
Sounded
unheard
kinda
of. It
wild
doesn't
at
mean
first.
she's gonna adopt. Well, I mean, I don't mean like weirdly, but if they're gonna go they'll go medically, I'm sure, and it doesn't mean she's gonna adopt.
So we stop at kids. We don't bring pets into it or saving the planet, but kids is where we do a hard stop.
This is like
I mean, because then I don't know, it just starts getting weird because if people start talking about bigger life issues, we don't know what comes up during this. We're going to start deducting points. I don't know. I feel a little like...
You got isn't somebody gluten free and something? Are we gonna give
Negative.
negative points of gluten free foundation? Like Celiac disease. Like, there's so many things. Kids is a cutoff.
All right.
Savage.
So, Casa Cerrado.
Savage.
Any MVPs for this episode?
I go with Theo. Dominating performance.
Oh yeah.
Eviscerated him. Cleared the beef up. Got revenge back for that unrequited kiss, and I think Theo's MVP.
And made Nora's heart flutter once again.
Yeah.
Him, he's my only male that I had on my team that I was like, he's gonna do anything. So I really have slim pickings. I have no team, so.
So, I think the MVP is clear cut Theo. So I wanna highlight some woes of this episode. Some people just devastated our teams. So I know personally for me, Paulie just totally screwed me over. Not only did he lose his soul and lose his elimination, he lost me points by what did he do on this episode other than just be a loser and wear Kara's clothes?
The combo pack.
Where's Paulie? I wrote something down.
I would even say you should lose double points since you lost your soul and the round. I'm just
There
throwing
you
that
go.
out there.
No,
I'm
Lost
for
twice.
that.
no, settle down now. So he got voted into elimination, then he lost the elimination. So that was bad for me. He did start some drama, so there was some mayhem points. Him and Johnny got a little bit of a shouting match. So, he salvaged it there, but overall bad showing.
I don't think that's enough for a mayhem point. Him and Johnny yelling. It wasn't even that deep. It was just like
No, all of these beefs are shallow. Like none of them are deep. They're just
but I wouldn't even call that like a beef. He literally asked like, "Why Cara? Like you messed up. You're wrong." And Johnny was like, "Are you gonna let me talk?" And then that was it. So it wasn't like
he was shouting at him, and Johnny was up on a balcony. They were like Romeo and Juliet shouting at each other about
yeah, because he was on the
stabbings
balcony.
in the
He
back.
couldn't hear him. He was shouting because he couldn't hear him.
I'm pretty sure the acoustics in that castle are pretty good. He could hear him. He could hear him just fine. Nah, that's some mayhem. That's some mayhem cause right there. The whole house was tuning in.
I don't know, man. I don't know, Eric.
Victor, I want you to take a look at Amanda and that score that she left you with this week, and
Why?
tell me how you feel about that.
I took a risk and I lost. I was really just banking on her mayhem points. I knew she wasn't going to get too far, but I thought she would cause a little trouble on her way out. So it didn't happen as planned. I took the L on that, but I'm pretty confident in the rest of my team. And yeah, I'm not worried.
And then last and least, Norah, how do you feel about Brandon's performance? He got voted in, then he lost his elimination, and then he had the audacity to mention his kids on the way out, losing you an extra point.
Honestly, it's on par with when I picked him. I didn't know his name, and I had to Google who he was.
Oh my god.
So
Ouch. Disrespect.
it makes sense. It makes sense. Honestly, who I'm more disappointed, I mean, he didn't lose me as many points, is Leroy. Like, come on, Leroy. Like, I mean, I know we haven't seen great things from him, but make it past the first episode at least. We love you, Leroy. Like, at least charm America for a few episodes, get your bag up so people invite you to things. Like, first episode. Mark, I'm not even mad at him. Yeah, Mark, I mean, he's older. It's okay. No big deal. Who else did I lose? I don't know. I love Kellyanne, so I'm sad about that one. So those are my two. I love Kellyanne, so I like her growth as we've seen her, be crazy, hot-headed, a little cuckoo. When she was it Wes she was dating? Yeah, for a little bit she was dating Wes, and And now she's just so chill. I mean, she's still a little cuckoo in her own way, but in like, just in her own little bubble, her own little earth. And I think it's cute. I like her. So I'm sad to see her go.
Any closing thoughts? Well, we'll close it out with, we're happy for you, Anissa. Keep doing a great job. Bye.
No, not happy.